Welcome to Annapolis Mosaics. Our program spotlights people in our community who are involved in activities designed to promote good human relations. I am Michael Keller, the chair of the Annapolis Human Relations Commission and your host. The commission is a city board that seeks to promote equal opportunity and to eliminate discrimination. My guests today are Debbie Langer, who is the Executive Director of Arundel Child Care Connections, and Meredith McCandless, an early childhood mental health consultant. Debbie and Meredith, welcome to Annapolis Mosaics.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Well, what are the objectives of Arundel Child Care Connections, and whom do you serve?
Well, Arundel Child Care Connections strives to promote and enhance the quality of child care within Anne Arundel County, and we do that through various programs, through community involvement, through professional development trainings, and parent engagement as well.
The Arundel Child Care Connections provides a variety of information and services to families. And what I'd like to do is to talk about each one in turn to give our viewers an opportunity to see the depth and the breadth of the programs in which you're involved. I'd like to start by giving you a chance to briefly describe the kind of information about quality care for children and how parents can ensure that the program that they choose is a good one. How do you help in that capacity?
Okay, we are one of the 12 resource centers within the state of Maryland, and there is a statewide database known as Locate Child Care. Okay. It houses all licensed programs in our state. So first of all, we encourage families to choose licensed programs. Okay. So they can call in to this free service, Locate Child Care, and an experienced counselor will go through a series of questions to find out exactly what are you looking for, what type of program, is there a price range you're trying to stay within, ages of children, and they will proceed to give them not recommendations, but a list of programs that are within their requirements of what they're looking for. They also counsel the families on what to look for when they go out to interview these programs, to definitely interview at least 3 or 4 programs so they can make some comparisons. They give them questions of what they can ask when they're out there. Like I said, again, things to look for as far as quality. And then they'll send out to the families a packet of information based on the child's age and what they're looking for.
Your organization also provides, I think, child care checklists.
Right. That is
What does that constitute?
Right. So that is part of that Locate program, but okay. If parents are interested, they can always contact us as well, and we can send that out. Basically, our checklist is a brochure with 3 different things to look at. So it will be taking a look at the provider themselves or the program, and things to look for that they can check off to see, okay, we see this about her, she's warm and welcoming and things like that. The second is the actual environment. Again, things to be looking for when they're in there, the materials, the cleanliness, and then to look at the actual program that's being offered. Is there a curriculum? What types of activities does this program or child care provider do with their children? And so we provide those checklists.
Good. You also provide help to families in determining their eligibility for subsidized care.
Correct. So again, along with the counseling that they get through Locate Child Care, the series of questions that are asked can tip off that parent counselor to say, have you looked at WIC? So if they have an infant or toddler, you might qualify for WIC if this is your annual income. The same with the Earned Income Tax Credit. What are some of the other? What is the temporary cash assistance, or possibly even the child care subsidy, which are vouchers that a parent can receive in order to help defer the cost of their child care program. So that's all built into that Locate Child Care service.
You also have a program that's called CHAMPUS. What does that acronym stand for, and what does that program do? What's it all about?
Okay, so it is our CHAMPS.
Okay.
It's okay, CHAMPS program, and we have Meredith McCandless here,
Okay.
who is one of our early childhood mental health consultants, and I'm going to let her explain the program.
So CHAMPS is an acronym, correct, and it stands for Children Arriving Mentally Prepared for School. And it is a grant-funded program that trickles down through the Maryland State Department of Education. And each county in the state of Maryland has a program that has different names but offers the same early childhood mental health services. And it falls under the umbrella of the Early Childhood Mental Health Consultation Project, which is monitored by Maryland State Department of Education and the University of Maryland and Georgetown University. And we offer assistance to children who are displaying some challenging behaviors in licensed programs or their homes with their moms and dads. And we go in and observe, run some screenings, and make some determinations and make some referrals and get the family and the program and the child specifically set on the path to success.
One of the things that you do is you make use of trained parent counselors with your organization. How exactly does that work?
So again, that's going back to that Locate Child Care service. So the counselors that are there to answer the phones when parents call, those are the ones that are trained in the process. They've got some background in child development, education, and so they're hired through Maryland Family Network, who is our statewide coordinating entity. So that's provided through that service as well.
Your organization also offers an array of services as well as information for child care providers. And I'd like to briefly go through each one of those and give you a chance just to comment on the services, because you offer a lot. I mean, there's a lot of things that you do, and I think it's really important that our viewers understand the breadth of the services that you offer. Among them is training programs and workshops. What kind of programs and workshops do you do for the child care providers?
Okay, so we service child care center staff and directors and family child care providers, and they are required to have a wealth of trainings even prior to them getting their license. So a lot of pre-service type of training. So we offer all of those to them. The Americans with Disabilities Act training, first aid, CPR, medication administration, health, safety and nutrition, curriculum, child development, professionalism, community, you name it, we offer it. And then once their programs are licensed through the state, they have continuing education requirements. And so we also will provide those professional development opportunities as well. So we're busy. Training's just about every night. So we try and do a lot of our trainings in the evenings. As you know, family child care providers, it's just them. And so it's tough for them to get away during the day. So the majority of our trainings will be held in the evening, either at our location, or we try and get out and about into the community at various libraries. And we also utilize a few churches to conduct our trainings.
You also have food and nutrition programs too, don't you? Or
That's just in our professional development.
that's in the professional development area. And you mentioned that you have, like, you offer resources through a library, or that you maintain your own library?
They can come in and, we have various publications where if they're looking for specific information that they can come in and utilize. We also have a resource room where they can come in if laminating. We have what's called a die cut machine where they can cut out everything they need. A bookbinder and things like that. So, and we have a computer that's available to them to utilize if they want to do some research while they're there. They're also, so child care centers, if they want to become, without getting into too much detail, accredited within the state of Maryland, have to use a recommended curriculum. So we have on display the 6 recommended curriculum. So if directors are not sure which curriculum they want to choose, they can come to our resource center and peruse. They can sit down, look through it.
And in fact, you do offer a lot of information to child care providers on things like credentialing and accreditation, as well as state licensing and regulations, which can sometimes be very challenging if you're a provider, and making sure, especially dealing with children, the state's going to be very, very careful. They're going to want certain things to be covered. My guess is they want I's dotted and T's crossed, and I'm certain that you provide a lot of help in that area.
We do. So we have an early childhood specialist that people can call, and again, all of those services are free of charge. If someone is even considering opening up a business, whether it's a center or a family child care program, they can give us a call. We can kind of talk through, here are the steps that you need to take. Here are some things that you can, go ahead and start getting ready. We kind of handhold through the process if someone needs it, so that once they're up and running, we still continue to assist them in marketing their business, giving them suggestions, arranging their environment to make sure that it's safe and educational. But there are several programs that are out there, and those are the programs we encourage parents to look for as well when they're looking for quality. So there's the Maryland Child Care Credential. These are providers that go above and beyond just the regular requirements to get their license. So they're taking more training. So it looks at their professional development. What are they doing to improve themselves in their knowledge and in their education? There's also a newer program, I guess it's been around 3-4 years now, called the Maryland Excels. Again, this is another quality program. They're all voluntary, which to me makes it even more important, because this, again, is not just looking at the provider, but it's looking at their program. They're going above and beyond just the regular requirements. So, when parents are looking for childcare, those are some of the things that they're encouraged to look for. When you go into a program, ask them, what level of credential are you on? Or, what check level in the Maryland Excels, are you participating? Because that's an indication. Okay, so this, program is going a little above and beyond. And so we help them through those types of programs.
Okay, we're going to take a break now, but when we return, we're going to be talking with Meredith and Debbie about some of the statistical information that highlights the issues related to child care right here in Anne Arundel County.
Good evening. The special meeting of the Annapolis City Council for Monday, July 28th.
We're talking today with Debbie Langer, who's the Executive Director of the Arundel Child Care Connections, and Meredith McCandless, who's an early childhood mental health consultant. The name of your organization is Arundel Child Care Connections, and that sort of implies that there are other organizations with which you work in your efforts to help both families as well as service providers in dealing with the many issues that are involved in child care. Could you identify some of those organizations that you work with and the contributions that they make to your efforts on behalf of child care recipients here in the county?
Sure. So we partner, as you said, with various agencies. One of them is Anne Arundel County Public Schools. They will provide us with trainers at times. And we also support them. They will conduct parent workshops that parents are welcome to attend, and we provide childcare. Our providers, we reach out to them and they volunteer, so it's a great partnership. The Partnership for Children, Youth, and Families, which is our local management board, continues to help promote our services, and we partner in different endeavors with them in getting childcare related information out to the community. I'll let Meredith talk about some of the other programs that help with our CHAMPS program that we partner with, infants and toddlers.
Yes, we work very well with the Infants and Toddlers program and the Child Find program, which is part of the county school system. And that's an early intervention service, so we collaborate often with the special needs and the mental health needs of the children.
Our Anne Arundel County Public Libraries, I certainly cannot forget them. Even though we are a nonprofit, so we're not quote unquote a county agency, they allow us to utilize their library space so that we can go out into the community to provide our trainings. So they have been extremely supportive. The Department of Social Services in providing information and trainings on child abuse and neglect. You know, some of the trainings that we like to offer, we like to go right to the top and utilize the experts, and everyone's always very willing to come in and provide their expertise.
Well, child care is a huge enterprise, and I think it would be of great interest to our viewers for you to share some important statistical information about the nature of child care right here in Anne Arundel County. In other words, what do people experience right here in our community? And so I've got a number of questions that I'd like to provide to you, and I know that your organization is a great collector of demographic information. And that kind of information can be of great use to educating the public about the challenges that we have not only here in Anne Arundel County, but you can almost extrapolate from the numbers which you'll be sharing with us to the state as well as in terms of the nation. My guess is that it's going to be pretty consistent across state lines. Well, the first thing I would ask about is just how many children are there in Anne Arundel County in the age group 1 through 11 for whom child care services may be needed? What's the size?
Right. So the data that is collected utilizes the census information. Okay. So we understand that it's not taken every single year, right. But according to the last census, which was in 2010, there were approximately 84,000 children between the ages of birth to 11 that could very well be parents could be searching for child care.
And how do child care expenses compare to other major household costs for residents of Anne Arundel County?
Child care expenses rank third among the expenses, with housing being the first, and then that dreaded word taxes being the second.
Okay.
It is about 21% of a family's income to pay for child care.
Yes, you're talking about 1 out of every $5
Correct.
are going
Correct.
for child care for those families who have a need for it in terms of have small children. And you can sort of extrapolate from that to say that for middle to lower income families, that can be a burden. It can be a tremendous burden for them. And in some cases, I think you could argue with those kinds of numbers. You talk about 1/5 of their income going for this. And that's not discretionary. I mean, that's something that they need to have. It's not something that they could easily say, well, we'll just drop it to the side. So, what do families? I mean, I'm sure you deal a lot with families who are coming from middle or lower income families. How do you deal with that? I mean, how do the families deal with that? How can you help a family that really needs to have that kind of assistance, and they just say, we don't want to get down to a situation where it's either provide child care or have 3 meals a day.
And that's the
Or
dilemma.
pay the mortgage.
Right. That is then becomes the dilemma. We want working families. We want them to be able to sustain themselves. But we know that there are some families, if 2 parents are working, one is basically working just to pay for childcare. And so is that doable? The state provides what is called child care subsidy vouchers. Okay. So we encourage families to apply. What that will do is based on the family's qualifications and incomes, because there are very many layers within the child care subsidy program, will determine what they will pay towards the cost of child care, and then what the parents' copay will be. So that can a lot of times offset that, but it's a program that is in desperate need of monetary support within our own state. The levels of reimbursement within the state of Maryland, including Anne Arundel County, are very low compared to other states across the nation. And so, we really need to see the amount of funding that goes into that program increase to continue to help these families. Right. And unfortunately, what will tend to happen is parents who can't afford that quality care or licensed programs, unfortunately, they'll start searching for other places. Now, it could be a family member, which is great if one's available, but sometimes they're looking for neighbors, which unfortunately is called illegal childcare here in the state of Maryland, which they're going to be cracking down on, because there's no guarantee that that is a safe and healthy environment for the child. And so that's what we do not want to see happen. So it's continuing to educate the families on the benefits of choosing a licensed program. We also encourage our providers, they can offer a variety of services, including sibling discounts. So if there are 2 children that are being enrolled, then they can get some kind of a discount. They can also offer what's called a sliding fee, which means that they are willing to work with that family if they don't qualify for the child care subsidy. And they might be able to work around what they charge to help that family be able to get their children in care.
Now, how many children under the age of 12 or so are in households in which there is a working mother, or in which you've got both of the parents are working or are in the workforce?
I can give you a general percentage. It's like between 80 and 85% of families that have either two working parents or a single parent working. You know, we know during the economic crisis, a lot of families, if there were two working parents, one decided to stay home. And so that kind of decreased our numbers there. But it's a very high percentage of families who need to find affordable quality care.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an option. I mean, if a child's in preschool or in kindergarten, or certainly in elementary school, then that represents a pretty large part of a day. But if you're talking about early childhood circumstances, it becomes a whole different situation.
And that can be a 10-hour day. You know, if families are, you know, parents that have to be at work by 8 or 8:30, you know, or even 9, you know, drop off at 8, you know, get off of work at around 5, and so don't pick up until about 6 o'clock. You know, it's a long day, not only for the children, but for the child care programs themselves.
And how would you? And how would you compare the demand for child care services here in the county with the supply of qualified, quality providers?
Currently, we have about 520 family child care providers, licensed family child care providers in our county, and about 116 child care centers. And to give you an indication, Locate Child Care, on average for Anne Arundel County, receives approximately 450 requests for child care every month. So the demand is lacking. I mean, the demand is there. The programs are lacking. The
Specifically infant care.
Correct.
Infant care is very hard to find.
Right. And, you know, due to the child care child to provider ratio. So family child care providers can only take 2 infants under the age of 2. And if they have an infant themselves, that counts as one of those. In centers, it's a 1 to 3. And so infant care is usually the most requested and the hardest to find.
I would suspect that if you took a national survey and asked people to list the top 10 issues that are of greatest concern to them, I think child care would be among them. Probably probably close to the top, if not at the top.
The top 3.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Easily, there's no question about it. Across the United States, families are struggling with child care issues. If you had a magic wand that you could wave and just accomplish something, what do you think you would like to see done? What would you have done? If you had the power to do it, what would you do to address the needs in this area?
Right. If I had a magic wand, I would love to see more federal dollars, state dollars go into supporting and offsetting the cost for families, assisting in paying the child care providers. When we look at the amount, we know that it's expensive, but yet when you look at the income of our family child care providers and our center staff, it's still under the state average, and the county average. And so, I think there needs to be a lot of awareness of the importance of early childhood education and child care.
That's where I was going with that. If I had the magic wand, I would like to wave it over everyone and have them encompass and understand the importance of early childhood, because people preach it out there and then we don't see the money going to that. So.
And we know, and again, this could be another whole show, but we know that 90% of a child's brain development occurs within the first 3 years. And so that quality is so extremely important for the success of those children moving forward. And so I think it's just advocating for early childhood programs, supporting early childhood programs, for employers and businesses to invest in early childhood education and make that a priority.
One of the things that I do when I go out and work with teachers and parents is try to look at the child's behavior and come at it with a preventative strategy rather than reactive. And I feel like early childhood, if we invest in that and understand that we need to put more money into that, that's being preventative for future people that are going to be adults. And then we won't have to put so much money towards things like prisons, etc.
Well, you know, I'm certain that our viewers are going to want to learn more about Arundel Child Care Connections. How can they get in contact with you? Do you have some information like a telephone number or a website that you would like to direct them to?
We do. So our website is arundelccc.org. They can contact me at 410-222-1794 or at welcome@arundelccc.org.
Thank you for viewing our program today, and please join us again on Annapolis Mosaics. If you would like more information about the Annapolis Human Relations Commission, please jot down the information on your screen. You can reach us at 410-263-7998 or by email at hrcommission@annapolis.gov. And check out our page at the City of Annapolis website. Go to www.annapolis.gov, click on City Government, then Boards and Commissions, and scroll down to the Human Relations Commission page. And always remember the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "We have flown the air like birds and swum the seas like fishes, but have yet to learn the simple act of walking the earth as brothers and sisters."